The restaurant buzzed with quiet elegance, crystal glasses catching the golden light of the chandeliers. It was the kind of place where billionaires signed contracts worth billions, and tonight was no different. At the center table sat Jonathan Pierce, a billionaire CEO in his early 50s. He wore a navy-tailored suit, his silver hair slicked back, his voice sharp with arrogance. Around him were two foreign investors, powerful men who had flown across the world to finalize a historic $3.5 billion deal. But just as the evening was supposed to begin smoothly, Jonathan's cold voice sliced through the air. "Bring me the wine list. Quickly. Do not keep us waiting," he ordered. The young waitress, Maya Williams, no older than 26, approached with grace. She wore her black uniform neatly, her natural curls tied back, her eyes calm but kind. She placed the wine menu gently on the table, offering a polite smile. Jonathan barely glanced at her. Instead, he frowned and muttered, loud enough for the entire table to hear. "Why do they always send someone like you? Can you even read this list without stumbling? Do not waste my time, girl. You look stupid." The room froze. A couple at a nearby table turned their heads. Maya's hand trembled for just a moment, but she straightened herself, refusing to let his words shatter her. Her silence carried more strength than his cruelty. The investors, however, exchanged glances. Their eyes narrowed, not at Maya, but at Jonathan. One leaned forward, his tone low and measured. "Excuse me, Mr. Pierce. Did you just call this young lady stupid?" Jonathan smirked, waving dismissively. "She is just a waitress. They come and go. What matters is business." Maya swallowed the lump in her throat, turned, and walked away with quiet dignity. But the damage had been done. The lead investor's face hardened. He watched Maya walk toward the kitchen, and then looked back at Jonathan with something that almost looked like disgust. His voice dropped, carrying weight. "Interesting. Very interesting." Jonathan leaned back, smug, unaware of the storm brewing in front of him. He thought he had control of the room. But in less than 10 minutes, his arrogance would turn into the biggest mistake of his life. Because what he did not know was this: Maya was not just a waitress. She carried a connection to these investors that Jonathan could never have imagined. And in that connection lay the fate of his $3.5 billion deal. Maya slipped through the swinging kitchen doors, her chest tightening. She leaned against the counter for a moment, willing her eyes not to betray the sting of humiliation. She had dealt with rude customers before, but never a billionaire CEO calling her stupid in front of the world. Inside her, memories stirred, her late father's voice echoing, "Never let anyone define your worth. Dignity cannot be stolen, only surrendered." She straightened her back. She would not surrender. Meanwhile, at the table, the investors did not pick up their glasses. Instead, they sat in silence, their expressions unreadable. One of them, Mr. Zhao, finally spoke. "In my country, we believe the way a man treats those who serve him reveals his true character." Jonathan chuckled, unfazed. "Gentlemen, let us not get sentimental. We are here to talk numbers, not waitresses." But the words only deepened the investors' frowns. Across the room, Maya returned, balancing a tray of water with steady hands. She placed the glasses down carefully. This time, one of the investors looked directly into her eyes. "Thank you, Miss Maya," she replied softly. "Maya," he repeated, as if testing the sound of her name. He gave her a small nod of respect before she walked away. Jonathan barely noticed, already boasting about quarterly growth charts and market dominance. But the investors had stopped listening. Their focus kept shifting to the young woman he had just insulted. Minutes later, Maya's manager whispered that the investors had asked for her by name. Confused, she returned to the table. Jonathan smirked. "Back already? Do not worry, gentlemen. She can bring you dessert menus. Just ignore her lack of." Before he could finish, Mr. Zhao raised his hand sharply, silencing him. He turned to Maya. "Tell me, Maya, what is it like working here? Do they treat you well?" Maya hesitated. Every eye in the restaurant was on her. She glanced at Jonathan's smug face, then at the investor's sincere expressions. With a quiet breath, she answered. "I work hard. I respect every guest. But sometimes, respect is not returned. The room went still. Jonathan's smile faltered. The investors exchanged a look that seemed to say everything. Then Mr. Zhao leaned back, his tone final. I see all I need to see. Jonathan blinked, confused. What do you mean? We have not signed yet. But the answer would not come tonight. It would come in a way that would shake the entire room, and shatter Jonathan's empire. Because the investors were about to reveal exactly who Maya was. Jonathan shifted uneasily in his chair. For the first time that evening, the confidence in his voice began to crack. What is this about? Are we discussing contracts or wasting time with waitresses? Mr. Zhao's lips tightened, his eyes steady. Mr. Pierce, do you know why we considered partnering with your company? It was not just the numbers. It was because we believed in shared values. Respect. Dignity. Humanity. The second investor, Mr. Rahman, leaned forward, his tone heavy with meaning. And yet, tonight, you revealed something very different. Jonathan forced a laugh, brushing off their words. Gentlemen, you are overreacting. This girl is nobody. I run a global empire. What she thinks, what she is irrelevant. The investors' faces hardened. Silence wrapped the table like steel. Just then, Maya, still shaken, tried to retreat toward the kitchen again. But Mr. Zhao called after her. Maya. Please stay. Her steps froze. Slowly, she turned back. The room had gone silent again, all eyes bouncing between her and the billionaire CEO. Mr. Zhao stood. His tone softened. You may not know this, but I had a sister once. She worked as a waitress, just like you. She taught me that humility is the true mark of greatness. She passed away years ago, but when I look at you, I am reminded of her strength. The words cracked through Maya's composure. Her throat tightened, tears threatening. She nodded respectfully, but her eyes glistened with quiet pride. Jonathan rolled his eyes. Are we here for stories about waitresses? Enough sentimentality. Let us finalize the deal. I do not have all night. The investors did not sit back down. Instead, Mr. Rahman pushed his chair away slowly, his gaze piercing Jonathan's smug expression. You are right about one thing. We do not have all night. And I have already seen all I need to. He turned toward Maya and bowed his head slightly. Thank you for your honesty, Miss Williams. Maya blinked in shock. Why were they thanking her? Jonathan slammed his hand on the table. What is going on here? Why are you entertaining this nonsense? She is just. But before he could finish, Mr. Zhao's voice thundered over his. She is not just anything. She represents the very values we demand in our partners. And if you cannot see that, then you are blind to the foundation of true business. The entire restaurant seemed to exhale at once. Jonathan's face turned red, his confidence collapsing like glass shattering on the floor. Because in that moment, it became clear, the investors had already made their decision. And what they were about to say next would destroy Jonathan's billion-dollar empire in front of everyone. Jonathan's jaw tightened. He could feel the eyes of the entire restaurant pressing down on him like a spotlight. The investors stood, their decision written across their stern expressions. Mr. Zhao spoke first, his voice sharp as a blade. Mr. Pierce, our agreement is finished. We will not sign a deal with a man who treats people as disposable. $3.5 billion means nothing if it is tied to arrogance and cruelty. The words hit Jonathan like a thunderclap. What? You cannot be serious. This is business. I have built an empire, and you are walking away because of a waitress. Mr. Rahman's reply was calm, but it carried the final blow. No. We are walking away because of you. Gasps rippled through the restaurant. Phones lifted discreetly, recording the billionaire's humiliation. Jonathan's face flushed crimson, his hands trembling as he reached for his briefcase. This is madness. You will regret this. My company. But Mr. Zhao cut him off coldly. Your company will regret you. Goodbye, Mr. Pierce. And with that, the investors turned and walked toward the exit, pausing only to offer Maya a nod of respect. One even whispered softly, "Hold your head high. You are the reason we made the right choice." Maya's heart pounded. She had not planned for this, never dreamed her quiet dignity could bring down a billionaire. Yet here she stood, the whole room watching, not with pity, but with admiration. Jonathan slumped back in his chair, defeated. The weight of billions slipping through his fingers crushed him. His empire had not been destroyed by market crashes or hostile takeovers, but by his own arrogance. As the investors' cars pulled away, Maya stepped outside for fresh air. The night sky stretched above her, calm and endless. For the first time in years, she felt the truth of her father's words: dignity could never be stolen. The restaurant manager approached nervously. "Maya, I think you just changed everything." She smiled faintly, tears glistening in her eyes. "Not everything. Just enough to remind people that respect is worth more than money." Inside, Jonathan Pierce sat alone at his once celebrated table. The billionaire who thought a waitress was beneath him had just lost $3.5 billion on the spot. And Maya? She walked home that night not as just a waitress, but as living proof that kindness, humility, and courage could bring even the most powerful to their knees. Because in the end, true wealth is not measured in billions, it is measured in how you treat the people who cannot give you anything in return.